YouTube family. Today is Monday, October 28th, 2024. It's your man, Big D, and I'm back with another one. Before I go in, I want to thank all of you that continue to rock out with my son and I. We greatly appreciate you. Thank you. So my son sent me a Instagram short in regards to the 401k being a scam. So if you are on a job, which most of you are, and you're working for a company that is not let's just say a governmental structured company, you more than likely have a 401k. And basically what this Instagram short went on to relay is that there was a older couple. There was a white guy. He was 77 years old. His wife, white lady, 66 years old. They've already retired, but they had to come out of retirement and go back to work because they just couldn't make ends meet. The husband, he was a retired electrician, and his wife was some type of paralegal or what have you. And, I'm pretty sure that back when they were working, their companies or their jobs had 401ks, and clearly it just wasn't enough. So family, this is a cautionary tale to everyone to know that if you are working on a job and if that 401k or whatever pension that company offers, you probably want to try to think about something else. You probably want to look at something else. I know that most of your governmental jobs, like law enforcement, firefighters, military, jobs like that are going to give you a retirement, and a pretty decent retirement after you give them a certain amount of years. So, that's something to think about because, and I know not everybody is built for those type of careers, but people laugh and talk crap about the police and what have you, saying they blue collar workers. But I'm telling you right now, those blue collar workers, they make well over six figures. And depending on what rank you attain before you retire, you are making well over six figures. And you have a pretty nice pension that's guaranteed every month. So unless barring something crazy where the economy just totally crashes, and that can happen. But other than that, 401k, they say it was something that was kind of like an experiment that companies back in the day were given an option, this 401k option, versus the pension that they offered back in those days. But I'm here to tell you right now, 401k, something's better than nothing, but will it be enough for you to retire on, depending on what age that you plan on chucking up the deuces to the workforce? Most people, 65, 66, 70, most people wait until they can collect their Social Security benefits and hope that on top of what they have in their 401k will be enough to sustain them. So family, that is something else that we have to look at. This is why we have to make sure that we put policymakers in that are not just going to look out for their constituents and their buddies and all that good stuff. They need to look out for the everyday people like you and I, because it's getting so hard nowadays that people like this have to come out of retirement and go back to work. And that's, I just don't see how that is just and how that is fair. Somebody who's worked damn near all their life and they're closer to the grave than they are to being to being alive. What I mean by that is if a person's 77 something years old compared to somebody who 37 years old, well, it stands to reason the person that's 77 years old gonna have less time on this planet than somebody who's younger. So that's what I mean by that. You give, everything to this country. And again, time and time over, we see that this country, the government they don't appear to give a care about us. And you can't depend on the government. You're going to have to look at some other things to ensure that you reach some sort of financial stride where you can say, okay, man, you know what? I got this much money in the bank. I got this much residual income coming in every month. I can safely retire and be comfortable until I take my last breath, versus now I gotta come out of retirement because I just can't make ends meet. It's a tricky business, family, very tricky. And we all get wrapped up in our emotions, and we get so caught up in the identity politics. We get caught up with all this other rigmarole, and the things that are most important to us and our families, we just totally just put that on the back burner. We just totally pass that by. And I'm telling you right now, this what's going on with this white couple. They're up in age. Grandparents, great-great-grandparents, and they talking about they got to go back to work. Man, you know what? That hurts. That hurts. Because it's just not right. And, there are some of us who, retired much earlier than they did. And it just depends on what moves you made, what cards you played, what decisions you made in life prior to the point that you decided that you can retire. Family, I tell you, it's always good to have a backup plan. And it's always good to have a backup plan for a backup plan for a backup plan, because it's guaranteed that if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And you just can't depend on these little pensions unless it's like a government pension. You work at the local police department or fire department, or you work, I don't know, you doing something maybe at the VA hospital. Unless it's some type of government structured retirement, you are going to have something else. It's almost guaranteed. And if you look around you, you see a lot of elderly people up in age that are still working. You see people coming out of retirement going back to work. Now, I know some will say, well, I'm just going back to work because I'm bored sitting at home and I need something to do. Man, let me tell you something. People go back to work either because they don't have the monies to sustain themselves, or they don't have the health care. People have to go back to work for health care benefits. And I don't know anything else, because for people to say they go back to work just to get out of the house and need stuff to do, they crazy. Because I got plenty to do. I got plenty plenty of things, VA appointments, doctor's appointments. I got plenty to do. So that craziness about people I'm going back to work just to get just to have something to do. Yeah, you crazy. Let me tell you something. You can start a little at-home business, answering phones or something, or not start a business, but get a work from home business. And yeah, start your own business too. If you just want to have something to do and you just want to go back and buck the mule and, go back into the job market, the workforce, well, I get it. Some people have to do what they have to do, but I'm of the opinion that most people that retire after working 20, 25, 30 years, and then they have to come back into the workforce, that's because the money that they have, that they're working with to live off of for the rest of their days, is just not there. It's just not there. And I tell you, that is a damn shame that people give so much to the government, to the country, and still you basically work, retire, repeat. Because if you got to go back to work because your retirement is not enough to sustain you, then you essentially repeating the same job. You back into the job force. You just repeating the same thing. So family, you got to always remember, you got to have a backup plan. And you just can't depend on these 401ks and these other little pensions that, these jobs are offering. Well, family, always remember, be more tomorrow than you were yesterday. Peace.